Hey everyone, happy Monday morning. Welcome in. It is time for Total Bases, your free pick Major League Baseball betting show right here on the Wager Talk YouTube channel. Tokyo Brandon showing off his new neon sign. It's actually very cool. I got to do something behind me. I've been opting for the plain backdrop. I think I need a neon sign, TB. I might get one that matches yours. But we're gonna get right into it. This is a busy Monday slate. It looks like they gave us a reasonable slate on a Monday coming out of the break. I want to start. Listen, when they put together the 2025 Milwaukee Brewers season sort of look back highlight reel, if you will, they're probably going to credit this show with sort of sparking the Brewers run. They sweep the. I got to be honest. I didn't play a single thing in that series, Bryan Leonard, but I am very, very surprised that they were able to come out of the break, continue that momentum, and sweep the Dodgers again. I just didn't think that was going to be the case. This team has now won 10 straight games, 11 of 12, pretty much since that Mets doubleheader, Mets series. They've won 11 of 12, and they're just on fire. And I want to use Brewers Mariners as our feature game because I think it deserves the spotlight a little bit here. Mariners take 2 of 3 from the Astros, and suddenly it's game on in the AL West. Brandon Woodruff, George Kirby, if they were both fully healthy in their full sort of selves, that's a pretty nice pitching matchup right there. So let's start with you, Bryan Leonard. Brewers, Mariners. Any comments on those two teams? And then how are you seeing this matchup tonight?
I blame it all on Tokyo Brandon. He came out earlier in the season, said something about the Dodgers third baseman. All of a sudden, the Dodgers third baseman gets glasses, and he's great. He said something a couple weeks ago about Seager, and Seager's terrible. And Seager, since then, has been one of the best players in baseball. And he comes out and says the Brewers, and we all know that. So it's nice of him to do that for anybody who's a Brewers fan. You can send your cash donations to Tokyo Brandon.
And who do you want me to curse next?
What was that?
Who do you want me to curse next? I'll take donations.
I want you to curse me if I get on a hot streak.
Okay.
We need to start winning some of these parlays. Woodruff against Kirby. Two guys that spent a lot of the year injured, but are very good, as we know, before the injuries. Kirby's about a 125 favorite here, and I hope my cat doesn't hear that because I named him after Kirby Puckett. He's thinking I'm calling him or something. But and then Woodruff's been great. 125.7 is what we're getting on the total in this one. So far this season, I've been really surprised by Brandon Woodruff because he was down in his rehabilitation starts and did not look good, was not pitching well. Same thing happened to Montos of the Mets. And I guess we need to start looking at that a little bit differently. Obviously, when they're down there in the minor leagues, they're working on certain things, and we have to ignore their play down in the minor leagues because I believe Kershaw was very similar. So, let's take a look at that. But Woodruff, 2.61 ERA, 2.21 expected, even better than what he has done. 0.68 whip. Obviously, that's not going to continue. Last time he pitched was 2023. It was 0.82, but 6.8 is kind of crazy. His fastball velocity is not there any longer. He's 32 years old. His extension's about middle of the road, 53rd percentile. So those are concerns. And but right now he's been looking really good. So we'll see how long that lasts. Either one of these guys could have a blow-up start because they are coming back from injury. Kirby's had a couple when he started out. He's got a 4.50 ERA, 3.77 expected. Another situation where he's been should be better than what he actually is, but he's got a 1.15 whip, 89 percentile walk rate, 5.4%. The last 4 years, his walk rates right now is at career high, 5.4. It was 3.0 before that, 2.5, 4.1. He does not walk people, and that's been his key. So we've got two guys here who, if they are on, this line is too high. It's a 7 right now. But we don't know, since the sample size is so small, we look at that or we look at the history. Milwaukee's offense has been doing really well. Seattle, if you take a look at since where did it go? Well, anyway, since beginning of the last 30 days, Seattle leads baseball in WRC plus at 126. So we got two pitchers. I like the under on. We got two hitters or two teams. I like the over on. It's a pitcher's ballpark, but you have to think Milwaukee would have a letdown. You just have to think that. I slightly lean Seattle and Kirby on for this for me.
So both of these teams are very well put together and doing very well. Both lineups hitting very well. Both bullpens performing very well. And Woodruff has been great since he came back. It's only 10 plus innings, but he still hasn't walked anyone yet. Kirby never walks anyone either. So these pitchers are very disciplined pitchers. Kirby's been a little inconsistent. He can give up 4 here, 4 there, and then give up 0-0 and then 2. So don't really know what to expect from him. My first inclination would be the under because both bullpens are performing well and both starting pitchers are red hot, but both lineups are red hot too. So it's kind of a stalemate for me on this one. I have the Brewers performing a little bit better than the Mariners in everything, but just barely better. So there's not an overall ranking of a huge discrepancy here. So I'll probably leave this one alone.
I will definitely look for a spot to play the Mariners in this series. I thought it might be here. I'm not saying that I don't like them. I think if you play this, I feel like the Mariners are the better side, all things considered. So a couple things. Brandon Woodruff, the fact that he's come into his first 2 big league starts of the year and he has 18 strikeouts and 10 1/3 is shocking to me. And not because Brandon Woodruff's not a great pitcher. He is, and he's been a good pitcher for a very long time. But this was he was it was months worth of rehab for him. I mean, he started his rehab pitching in minor league games back in early April. So this was a type of scenario where he didn't have a spring. So it was an extended sort of stint at in the minors. And then I think he had a setback of some sort where he didn't.
Yeah.
Right, Brian?
Well, a couple times because they thought he was along. And then they said, is he ever going to get a chance to pitch again? So it's been a long road for him.
So, right. He went pretty much the entire month of June where he was back on the shelf. He makes one appearance at the end of June in AAA, and then he comes out and he just eviscerates the Marlins and the Nationals in back-to-back starts. This is not that. The Mariners, and now I got to try to pinch myself a little bit and say, I've been talking about this team for a couple months. I've now taken positions on them in the AL West. I've got some long-term stuff going on with the Mariners, and it's starting to come to fruition here. They take 2 of 3 from the Astros this weekend, something they absolutely had to have. So I'm very high on this Mariners team. And so I need to make sure that I'm not just betting them, or I'm inclined to bet them because I have some longer term stuff that sort of, would be favorable if they win. But again, I just come back to I really think this team's the best team in the American League West. I think they're going to win that division. I've been saying it since there were 6 or 7 games back. And now I truly believe that's going to be the case. The key here, and the reason I think you got to bet the Mariners are past this game, the Brewers used a lot of bullpen over the weekend. 3 essentially 1-run wins over the Dodgers. I think one of them was 2-0, and all of them had high leverage arms in those outings. Brandon Woodruff, 4 innings in his first start, 6 innings in his last one. If the Mariners are putting together some good at bats and he's out after 5 innings or so, you're going to either have some very tired leverage arms, or you're going to have some maybe guys that the Brewers don't necessarily want in a leverage spot. I don't think you can do that against the Mariners. I think they're just playing too good right now. They managed to win the close games against the Astros this weekend. A little bit of a kind of rolled out of bed and tried to play yesterday. I feel like ended up getting blown out. So I like the Mariners here. Not sure if it'll make my card, but I definitely wanted to give that game the sort of spotlight as the feature game today, because that's going to be a great matchup. Two teams that are playing as good as anyone right now, as Brian Leonard said. Mariners, WRC plus. They're leading since when, Brian? Last month
30
or so?
days.
Last 30 days. Last 30 days. Yeah, that is a, you want to talk about current form and liking a team current form. WRC plus over the last 30 days is probably the best sort of, metric to be able to measure like current offensive form. And so the Mariners have been that. So I like the Mariners there. Let's go to the chat. We're getting in the groove for the week here. Back doing, I hate having the week off of shows. Have to like get back into the mix here. And I should have been starring some chat questions, but I'm going to grab this one. Let's go to Steve Duke. He says Miami favored because of Perez. I don't know where the last half of his message went, but that's okay. That's all we need to get going on this one. Brian Leonard, Miami is favored. It is because of Perez, but it also might be because Randy Vasquez is probably not a big league pitcher, even though he continues to moonlight as one, if you will. Guy has frustrated the hell out of me this year, so help me figure this one out. Padres, Marlins, Perez, Vasquez.
I promise not to be as long-winded on this one. I literally just rolled out of bed. You can see the red in my eyes right now. 6 a.m. out here in Vegas. I don't know how Tokyo Brandon does his late night stuff, but that's exactly why they're favored. I mean, Perez has been terrific as of late. And he's going up against one of the worst. I hate to say anybody, put anybody down. I'm not Brandon, but Vasquez, he's one of the lesser pitchers in Major League Baseball. Perez about a 130 favorite right now, total 8.5. I tried to play against San Diego one of the games over the weekend, I believe, and didn't have a lot of success in that regard. But they're going up against this Miami team right now, and we've liked this Miami offense all year long, and it's starting to come around. Vasquez, he's got a 3.80 ERA. This is why we talk about it. 3.80 ERA, that's pretty good. But his expected ERA is 2 full runs higher, 5.80. Last year, his expected was 5.94. The year prior, 5.37. He's got no red on his StatCast page at Baseball Savant on the MLB website. So he's not very good at anything. His whiff rate, the first percentile, strikeout rate, the first percentile. Yeah, I'm not looking to back Randy Vasquez. Now, Yuri Perez on the season, he's 3.18 ERA, 2.38 expected. Even better. He's been terrific. 0.91 whip coming back from injury. The one problem is his ground ball rate's only in the 8th percentile, so he does hit fly balls. And I've gotten beaten the last week or so on teams that are hitting fly balls because they hit home runs. And they'll end up with 4 hits, and they're all solo home runs, and I lose the game 4-3. It's just one of those situations. But that's baseball. That's what happens. But if you look at Perez, 98th percentile expected batting average, 96th percentile expected ERA, 95th percentile fastball velocity, clear advantage for Miami in that regard. Now, when we take a look at the two teams, San Diego and Miami, on the WRC plus the last 30 days, San Diego has been 19th. They're at 96, while Miami is 11th at 104. So you've got by far the better pitcher. You've got the better offense, at least right now, at least the last month. The only problem is San Diego's bullpen is the best, at least coming into the season, and I feel the best or one of the best in baseball, and they're fresh. They haven't used anybody since Friday, so that should be an advantage for San Diego. So if I'm looking to play this, I would play Miami in the first 5. Let's see what kind of line we get there. Yeah, minus 150, minus 155 is out there. That would be the way that I would look at this so far. Haven't made any decisions, but Miami first half, minus 150 is not a bad one.
So my rankings, by the way, guys, please go back to the replay and click the like and leave us a comment. It shows Wager Talk you like our show, and we would really appreciate that. I have a 5% play out today. I'm sure Adam and Bryan are going to put something out as well. And you can download all of my pitcher projections at my page at wagertalk.com. So go do that for free. So Randy Vasquez, some people in the comments saying he's not so bad. He is so bad. He's actually been very lucky this season not to be tagged even worse than he has been. I have his look ahead or his expected numbers. He's ranks one of the worst pitchers in MLB as a regular starter. He's not Senzatella level quite yet, but he's getting there pretty quickly. And I have the bullpens ranked fairly even in current form. I agree with Bryan that San Diego's is better talent-wise. Current form, though, Miami's bullpen's performing quite well, and their lineup is performing quite well, too. This is one of those where you have to cover the logo and cover the team names and just look at the numbers and think which team's better. One thing about Randy Vasquez, he's walking more guys than he's striking out. That's an alarming red flag. So if you don't trust Miami, take their team total over maybe, but San Diego's bullpen's really good. Maybe take their first 5 team total over, or take them to win the game, get some plus money and take them to win the game. Unfortunately they're favored, so you can't get plus money for them. Maybe take their team total in the first 5. That might be the way I'd go.
Yeah, I like the Marlins here. I'm not gonna. You guys have said all that needs to be said about Vasquez. It's actually been incredible to watch. That it's gone on this long. The expected numbers that Bryan pointed out being 2 runs off. I mean, that's been the craziest thing with Vasquez is usually by this point in the year that sorted itself out, and it hasn't. So it's like, it's almost like hard to wrap your head around how he hasn't been really blown up yet, because that market correction should have happened a long time ago. The fact that he made it through the whole first half is hard to fathom. But in this matchup, not only are you getting Vasquez, there's probably a blow up on the horizon. Now, if you're countering that, you can say, well, Trig, you've been coming on the show for 2 months and saying he's due to get blown up. He still has an ERA under 4. And yeah, maybe he Houdinis his way out of 5 innings and gives up 1 or 2 runs again. But you have Perez on the Miami side now, and he is pretty much back at full strength as far as I can tell. I talked about Perez during his rehab, knowing a couple of people close to that organization, and they were thrilled with the time, effort, just everything about his rehab was very positive. And so as soon as he sort of got his command back, which came, I think maybe 3 or 4 starts in, there was the one start where he was just lights out, and you're like, okay, maybe he's back now. I think based on the full body of work, you can confidently say that Yuri Perez is back. It doesn't look like the injury is affecting him. And you look at the underlying metrics, they're all really, really good. Bryan references Baseball Savant and StatCast, a lot of red on that page. There's really not much he's not doing well at this point. So I do like the Marlins quite a bit here. I thought the price was, I feel like the books maybe have, they're beating you to this spot a little bit with this price at -130. But that initially deterred me here, feeling like, okay, I got to have to lay $1.30 to back the Marlins against a Padres team that's clearly a better team. But I think I'm going to end up playing this today. So Marlins, I don't know if I'll throw it in the parlay here. Let's see how the show is going to go. But this may be a client play for me. I'm not gonna say that one way or the other, but definitely one of the ways I am looking on today's slate. Go ahead, Bryan.
Yeah, I just want to point out, talk about the San Diego bullpen, the Miami bullpen. Enriquez and Bender both have pitched 2 of the last 3 days, although they did have yesterday off. So I like the first half play better than the full game.
All right, let's continue on. Someone said Brewers didn't use any leverage pitchers yesterday. That was going back to the first game we talked about. I think what I was more or less pointing to was their collective bullpen usage over the past 3 days has been almost everyone has pitched. I'm not saying they won't pitch again tonight for that game, but when you use as much pen as they've used the last 3 days, I think there's still some carryover there. So I want to clarify that. in regards to the first game we talked about, Brewers Mariners, where if you are looking for that game, we open the show with that game. Go ahead, Brian.
The 4 high leverage guys, Mears, Koenig, Uribe, and McGill, have all pitched 2 of the last 3 days.
2 of the last 3 days.
It's major. I mean, they also had Anderson and Hall pitch double digits yesterday, but when you've got your best relievers, Ashby's going to be available. He may end up being the closer if they're in that situation, and that's something they've liked in the past. Other than that rookie that was up earlier this year, Ashby's a guy that's got terrific stuff. He could be a closer. So yeah, that's something to keep in mind at the end of that game.
All right, let's head to a different game. Got to talk about this one. It's the Tigers, everyone's favorite team, at least in this chat. A little bit sluggish out of the break for the Tigers and into the break. Finally got off the mat last night with a 2-1 win on Sunday Night Baseball, and their reward for that is a quick turnaround, hitting the road to take on Paul Skeens. So that's a tough scheduling spot there for the Tigers. Sunday Night Baseball had to grind out a 2-1 win on the road. That wasn't easy. And now they have to turn around and face arguably the best pitcher in baseball, certainly one of them, Bryan Leonard. So we've got Tigers, Sunday Night Baseball on the road, Monday game on the road, up against a Cy Young candidate in Skeens, Jack Flaherty on the mound for the Tigers. How do you see this one?
Just a general something that generally I want to point out is you talked about the Tigers and their slump as of late. They had a huge lead in that division earlier. It's still up by 11 over the Guardians, 11.5, 12 with the Royals and the Twins. But and then we talked about this earlier with the Dodgers, when you have a big lead, especially a team like the Tigers, who are not known to have been dominating that division. It's been the Guardians and the Twins and the Royals for as long as I can remember. They weren't used to being that good. And when you come out and everybody's congratulating you, everybody, we were even talking about the Tigers on this show and some others. Is this the best team in baseball in the whole bit? Well, you're going to lose a little bit of want. You're not as hungry as you were before. And that's what's running into the Tigers now. We saw that with the Yankees a little bit earlier. They had a big lead. It's going back and forth in the East and the National League all year long. So just keep that in mind. The Dodgers were in that similar situation. They're like a week ago, they were up 9 games. Now they're only up 3.5. It changes, and keep that in mind. But as for this game, we're taking a look at Flaherty, who is on the road against Skeens, but a 123 Pittsburgh and 7 on the total. I was looking at this overnight, and I thought the line was very cheap on Skeens. I give it cursory looks at night, and if there's something that
TB, did we lose Brian there?
It looks like he froze.
Okay, well,
I'll give my thoughts.
Go ahead. We'll circle him back and go ahead. Yeah.
This is why I make this downloadable PDF file, and you guys can all download it for free. But what I've done is I've taken all the starting pitchers and I project their hits allowed, Ks allowed, how many outs they'll go, etc. And I also have their OPS and ERA against versus the team they're facing today. So you can download all that for free. And I use this for my capping. So looking at that, Skeens has great numbers against the Tigers. He's only faced them a couple times, limited numbers, but 125 batting average against and a 375 OPS against is amazing. Flaherty has been lit up a little bit by these Pirates batters, a 304 batting average against and a 957 OPS. And I've said in previous videos that 750 is kind of my Mendoza line for OPS. So he's way over that. And then we have Flaherty on the road. Let's see how Flaherty does on the road. Yeah, I mean, he's got a 6+ ERA on the road. So I can't back Detroit. So my numbers are not all, everything. It's not the definition of everything here, but it's enough to make me say I'm not betting the Tigers for sure. Now, whether I bet the Pirates or not is a different story. I looked to Detroit's team total first 5 under 1.5. Seems a little tantalizing, but unfortunately, Skeens has allowed 2 runs here, 2 runs there, and in his last start, he allowed 4 runs. So 1.5 is a little dicey for me. Might play on Pittsburgh or some kind of Detroit team total under, perhaps, but I haven't got there yet.
Yeah, interesting. So Sean Michael says Skeen's pitch count. There's some merit, I think, to that just in general right now. Like, and he actually elaborated here. I want to pull this up because I think this is important. He's probably. Go ahead. No, I was going to say he's probably not.
Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Yeah, he's been under 80 in his last 2 starts and 88 before that. So he's generally 70, 78 or so.
Yeah, and that's going to be the case for the rest of the season. The Pirates are 39-61 entering play today. They have to start, it's just, if Skeens is feeling great one day and he's got 6 scoreless going, are they maybe going to give him a little bit more leash and let him throw 100? Yeah, probably. But like you got to start, listen, the Pirates are going to protect that investment. They don't like spending money. They're more concerned with profit margins than winning baseball games, which is why Pirates fans are so upset. But yeah, like you have to look at that. You're getting Skeens as the starter here, but if you're only going to get him for 85, 90 pitches, should you be laying -125? Like I actually put this game next to the Marlins game because I think it's like a similar dichotomy where you have the clear better team on the road, Padres and Tigers. The clear better pitcher is on the quote unquote lesser team, Marlins, Pirates, and you're being asked to lay a price with a lesser team. And for me, the Marlins was the much more favorable of the 2 spots because I actually happen to think the Marlins are pretty good. And they're starting to win games now. They're 6 games under 500, Tokyo Brandon. Who would have had that a few months ago, right? Like the Marlins have played their way back into serious respectability. And I think they could actually have success against a team like the Padres. Whereas like thinking that the Pirates should have success against a team like Detroit. Yeah. Could they get 1 in this series? Maybe, but also you just woke up Detroit last night, right? Like the sleeping beast, if you will, that went into the All-Star break, 3 straight losses, came out of the All-Star break, like totally asleep, couldn't score a run. Now woke up last night. I also think the books are pricing it in where like they know that the Tigers played on Sunday Night Baseball. So all that's priced in. So even though Jerry Davis says the spot here for the Pirates, I think it's a decent spot, but this is the instance where I really feel like they're overpricing the fact that Skeens is on the mound and the fact that the Tigers played on Sunday Night Baseball. I could have got down with the Pirates here like -105, but man, now that you're starting to get to -125, -130, that's where I'm just like, I don't know if I can get down with that. Go ahead.
And not to cut you off, but I'm doing the Bryan raise your finger thing. But last start against the Tigers, Skeens gave up only 3 hits in 6 innings. They were unlucky hits because people were on base, but 3 hits in 6 innings, man, that's pretty much domination. If I remember
correctly, that Skeens' last start against the Tigers was like part of a doubleheader. I'm pretty sure he started game 2. So that I don't know if that really matters per se, but you had the Tigers who I believe won game 1 of the doubleheader and then had Skeens in the second game. So anyway, go ahead. Sorry.
He actually has better numbers on the road than he does at home, but I don't really, it's the difference between an ERA of 1 and an ERA of 2. So it's not really like we're parsing things and it's the sample size is not that huge. So it's true that he will be on a limited pitch count. And one thing to keep in mind, if you're going to think about betting an under in this game, is both bullpens are performing horribly right now. I have them both 25 or worse out of 30 teams in current form. So something to keep in mind.
City by the Bay says can't bet on favorite with a weak lineup. That's probably something that belonged in this handicap. We talk about WRC plus being a good indicator of how a team is performing offensively, with the Mariners have had the highest WRC plus over the last 30 days. The Pirates, I believe, have the lowest WRC plus of any team in the league by like a wide margin this year. This is a horrific lineup, 1 through 9. And they made like a trade the other day with the Royals. I believe it was like, I forget, I think maybe Frazier. They sent someone to the Royals to get
Adam
Cam
Frazier.
Devaney. But yeah, so they send Adam Frazier, who's actually like a guy that probably impacts that team positively when he's on the field. He's a scrappy guy, just slaps the ball all over the place. They traded him for Cam Devaney. Now, that, in my opinion, is a pretty good trade for the Pirates, because Cam Devaney's got some upside as a few, going forward. The problem is they put Cam Devaney at AAA and called up someone that's been not a good player at AAA. So I'm not really quite sure what the mindset there was by the Pirates, but they ultimately made their team worse in the short term. They should have just put Devaney on the big league team. Why they sent him to AAA is beyond me, but they actually made their lineup worse in the short term. So yeah, I won't have anything.
They're not trying to win.
I won't have anything in that one.
We can move on.
But again, hard to go against. It is hard to go against Skeens there. Maybe one that there's just not it's a tough one to get involved with.
Bryan messaged that he's trying to get back in. So as soon as he's back in, we'll have him here, guys.
Well, we will forge ahead. Steve Duke, this is This is what we're talking about. Now the Pirates go on a prolonged winning streak. Thanks to our word magic. Yeah. I mean, they could not have looked worse against the White Sox all weekend. They were horrific in that in that series. So it only makes sense that would be the case. And BBL says, hope the Tigers money line increases. That's, I think, another good talking point for this matchup here, Tokyo Brandon. At what point, if they're going to give you like plus 115, plus 120 on the Tigers, like, don't you just have to start thinking about taking that based on the fact that like they're such a superior team? Like, that's, a talking point as well.
They're a superior team, but we've discussed this in previous shows that they're kind of one of those small ball teams that's coached really well and they produce runs. They like eke out runs and 2-0 wins. That's the kind of team they are. So yeah, someone in the chat said Tigers plus 1.5. I wouldn't argue with that, because this is probably going to be like a 1-0. Like Skeen's games are always like 1-0 or 2-1, and they never produce runs for him. I don't know if that's a thing, to be honest. I don't know if batters are just like, oh, we got Skeens on the mound, we don't have to hit today, and they don't hit. I don't think that's the case, but it's more than a coincidence that they never score when he's pitching.
All right, Kevin Paquette asked for Guardians Orioles, but I want to see if we can get Bryan back on before we talk Guardians. That is, we'd be doing all of ourselves a disservice if we talk Guardians without Bryan Leonard. So I'm going to go to we'll do this one first. Let's see, what did he say?
Oh, he lost his Wi-Fi, so he's not coming back.
Yeah, that's for whatever.
But he gave us his parlay piece.
I think Vegas has I don't know if it's the main provider there, but I know people out in Las Vegas have internet issues more than most. We have like a good amount of our company that lives out there, and they're always having internet issues in Vegas. So I don't know what that's about. But Spectrum treats us
betting as well. So
Spectrum treats us okay here in Central New York. I never really have internet issues. So shout out to Spectrum Cable right there, because they keep me going good here in Central New York. And let's go to New York here. Actually, these are Tokyo Brandon, the two where I live. The closest Major League Baseball team technically to where I live is the Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of people don't realize that, but for me, Rogers Center is about 4 hours away. Phillies ballpark's 4.5. And then the two Yankees teams are 4.5 roughly. And then it takes door to door. I can get to Cleveland 5 hours. So I'm pretty much 4 or 5 hours away from any MLB team.
Interesting.
And the closest one would be going up through Buffalo, going to Toronto. The Blue Jays would be the closest team to where I live. And they have a huge series here with the Yankees tonight. So we have a bunch of chat chat
Okay.
requests for this game.
I'm ready.
And yeah, this is a massive series. I got asked. I did a show spot for BetMGM yesterday, and one of the things they kind of put me on the spot in the AL East and said, "Who are you taking? AL East? Do you think the Yankees come back and win this division?" And I said, "No." I said, "I'm all in on the Blue Jays. I was on the Blue Jays before they were playing well, and I'm going to see this out." Now, as far as this matchup's concerned, I don't know if I feel that way. But long-term, I'm on the Blue Jays. Very big series, very interesting matchup. Yankees-Jays, what are you seeing here?
So Gaussman is a guy who was an absolute stud. By the way, guys, I'm gonna promo again. I have a 5% play up, so go grab that. Download my pitcher sheets for free on my site at Wager Talk, and Adam's definitely gonna have something out as well. Grab our stuff.
I put a play up. I just haven't put the brick out there yet, but yeah, I locked in a 4%er already.
So show us a little love there, and now we'll get to my breakdown here. So Gaussman used to be an absolute stud. He was like a Skeens or a Scooble back in his day, but he's not that anymore. But he is very solid. On my rankings, I have him ranked right in the medium category, around 15 out of 30 on a curve, where I have Rodon ranked 11 on a curve. So I got Rodon ranked a little higher. Bullpens, Toronto's is performing a little better, and both lineups are top 10. So what do you do? Well, I'm not going to play a side, and I'm not going to play a total. I looked at the pitcher versus hitters, and two guys just jumped way off the page. Take a look at what Aaron Judge has done against Gaussman. Unbelievable stuff. Aaron Judge, where is he? 16 of 43 with 6 home runs in 43 at-bats, a 3.72 ERA and a 13.70 OPS. So I'm going to look for Aaron Judge's hits, runs, RBIs today. Toronto's bullpen is performing really well, which kind of scares me. But over 1.5 hits, runs, RBIs for Aaron Judge, I think would be a good play. And another one, if you look at Carlos Rodon, he's pitching really well. But this is a hitter's park, guys, in Toronto. And Guerrero, he's 9 for 15 with 1 home run against Carlos Rodon. He's got a 600 average and a 1667 OPS. That is just sick, ridiculous stuff. So I'm not going to take a side or a total. I'm going to focus on those hitters and maybe take a hits, runs, RBI. And I've said on shows past why I like hits, runs, RBIs better than total bases. With total bases, although the show total bases is great, I don't bet it because if you walk, you lose one of your at-bats and you only get maybe 4 in a game. So that's why I like hits, runs, RBIs.
This is the strongest total opinion I have for the day. Now, I don't really bet totals very often. It's just not a market I've had long-term success in. So I pretty much save the totals for, I have opinions on them. I just rarely bet them as client plays. Don't think I've actually given one out as a client play in like a couple of years. Maybe last year, I think I did 1 or 2. So take that with a grain of salt. That being said, as far as where my numbers are and just the way I handicap this has to be an over. I feel like, and if you're going to get an 8 here, now this might be 8.5 even some places now, but if you can get a juiced 8 here and the juice is like minus 120 or less, I really think over makes a lot of sense. So first thing you kind of talked about it, Gaussman's having a really nice season. And I think there's something to be said for like these veteran guys, when they're on a good team and then things start to go well, I feel like that's when you see some of like these like older veteran guys really like sort of kind of find the fountain of youth to an extent where they're just like they look like they did when they were in their prime. And that's sort of what I'm getting with Gaussman a little bit, sort of watching him pitch this year. His off-speed stuff has been fantastic. He's getting swing and miss, and he looks really good. But that being said, the Yankees have seen so much Gaussman over the years. You already pointed out Judge being a potential play. That's true of like a lot of this Yankees lineup. A lot of them have good numbers against Gaussman, and they have huge sample sizes against him. So I don't think he's going to fool anyone on this Yankees team. And the Yankees certainly woke up over the weekend. Like that comeback win to win on Saturday and then win yesterday makes me sort of hesitant to play against the Yankees going forward, because as a New Yorker, as someone that's had to live his entire life with delusional Yankees fans who always think they're the World Series champs. I've come to my, like, if you go to my group chat with all my Sienna buddies, they're all Yankee fans.
They're paid like World
down.
Series champs.
Yeah, but like I know, like it's the ebbs and flows of this team. Like once they get the game like they had Saturday, where they come back and they win 12-9, and like it really snowballs for this team. And so I have no interest in like going against the Yankees right now because I'm worried that this is like one of those runs where they rattle off 6 straight wins. And of course, Tokyo Brandon, you got to go back to the last time these two teams played a couple weeks ago. The Blue Jays slapped the Yankees around. I think they swept that series. So the Yankees are going to be they either took 3 or 4 or swept them. So the Yankees are going to be very hungry here, I think, to avenge that sort of poor play the last time these two teams have played. But the reason I like the over, the Yankees used a lot of bullpen the last 2 days to close out those 2 wins against the Braves. And Rodon, for as good as Rodon has been, he doesn't have, he's not like blowing people away with the fastball at this point. No, it's like 93, 94. He spots it well. Everything else is awesome. I mean, he is an all-star, and this line is priced as if you have 2 all-star starters. But as you said, this Blue Jays lineup is great 1 through 9. They're having great at-bats, and I think that they can sort of do enough against Rodon where even if they don't blow Rodon up, they're going to battle, and he's going to be out after 5-6 innings. Maybe you get into that Yankees bullpen. My gut tells me the Jays have some runs in them in this game, but they're going to have a hard time outscoring the Yankees. So give me the over 8 in this one. Yeah, I mean, we'll do the parlay at the end, but I that's probably the one I like. I like that quite a bit.
Sure.
All right,
let's
continue.
If you want.
Yeah. I mean, let's go to that game. I didn't realize. Yeah, Brian's not going to be back, so let's go to Kevin Paquette here in the chat. He says, "Good morning, guys. Orioles, Cleveland. Can we break this down? Cleveland minus 135 seems a bit high. I agree with that because I don't think the Guardians are a very good team. But it's your boy Tomo Sugano on the mound for the Orioles. I don't really want him either. So what are you going to do with this one, Tokyo Brand?
Yeah, this one's got me a little perplexed. Taking a look at how they match up, I have the let's see, hang on. I got my pitchers mixed up here. Yeah, my guy Sugano, he's a little old. I was really surprised he went over to the US this late in his career because he's on the downside. He was a stud about 4 years ago. He's like Gausman, basically. He was a stud like 4 years ago. But anyway, I have the Guardians, soon to be Indians again if the president has his way. But anyways, did you hear that story?
I did, yeah.
That was funny, huh? We'll see what happens. So anyways, no politics on the show. So I have the Guardians ranked higher in everything. I got Bybee ranked higher than Sugano. Sugano's ERA expected numbers are really bad. And I don't know why, because I'm looking at his stats. He doesn't strike out a lot of guys, but his walks to strikeout ratio is not horrible. It's not in the good range, but it's not horrible. I have him ranked 28 out of 30. And that's mainly focusing on expected numbers and expected WOBAs and expected ERAs and things like that. And Baltimore's bullpen has been bad and they're not hitting very well. So I have the Guardians ranked a lot higher in this one. So that would be the only way I would go, would be the Guardians. I haven't done it yet. Bybee's not walking anyone. So yeah, I mean, Guardians are bust for me, but I haven't done it yet.
Yeah, I commented on the name change, and someone on Twitter was like coming at me like I was trying to make it a political thing. I was like, listen, the Guardians is just a dumb name. I don't care what way you lean. Like,
very dumb.
I don't care if they don't go back to the Indians as the team name. I don't see any problem with it. We have other teams that are still
it's a dumb name.
The Indians. It's fine. But like, you had so much opportunity to do something cool, and you came up with the Guardians in a G that has angels wings on it as your logo. Like, it was an all-time fail, in my opinion. I still would have gone to the
do that logo.
I still would have gone with the Spiders. I thought the Spiders
was
the right move.
Name. Yeah.
But anyway, that's
I don't like the name Commanders. But I think the dumbest name in all of sports is the Pelicans. That's just such a stupid name. Sorry, but that's dumb. But anyway,
Anyway,
I hope
as
the
far as
Commanders go back to Redskins because I'm a traditionalist, so I'd like to see both of them go back.
Yeah, and while we're at it, maybe we can get rid of the Ghost Runner because that's to me would be the if I could change one thing, it would
You
be getting
really
rid
hate
of,
that.
I hate the Ghost Runner. It's just it
understand.
skews things. I've been a Guardians hater on this show for a couple weeks now, and I don't think they're I don't think they're I don't want to say they're not a good team because like that really becomes very subjective. I don't think they're even close to the team they were last year, and I still think the market prices them as they tend to be priced more like last year's Guardians than what they should be priced as a 48-50 team that doesn't have a great lineup, that has some question marks all around the team. That's why, I get people in the chat, they're like, why don't you like the Tigers? Why don't you like the Guardians? I don't care about any of these teams. I just like betting. I'm just trying to find edges to win. And the reason I've been so anti-Guardians this year is because of where they've been priced in the market. And that's why I was anti-Tigers for a while, because I just didn't agree with where they were priced in the market. I like the Guardians in this spot. I think a lot of what you said has merit, Tokyo Brandon. I don't like Sugano at all. I was also, I don't follow NPB like you do, but I was also shocked. It reminded me of when Hyunjin Yang came over from Korea late in his career. It's almost like he did everything that he could do in Japan, and sort of like the final sort of way to test himself was, can I go to America for a year and see how it goes, right? It's like completes his career. Now, to Sugano's credit, he's actually been a lot better than I thought he was going to be to this point. He's been much better than I thought he was going to be to this point. That being said, I don't think he is a quality MLB starter, and I'm going to continue to try to find spots to fade him if they're going to price him as such. The Orioles are a team that's always played worse on the road. They always hit worse on the road. Their hitting numbers are worse on the road this year as well. If this was a lefty for the Guardians, I'd be making this a play. Because it's a right-handed pitcher, and the Orioles do have success against right-handed pitching, it'll stay a lean. But yeah, I'm with you. It would be Guardians or pass for me here. I just couldn't get down with that minus 130 price tag. Just a little too
Another
expensive.
thing that kind of scares me, sorry to cut you off. Another thing that kind of scares me is the fact that the Guardians have a losing record at home. That kind of bothers me.
Yeah, I don't know what to think of that. I feel like they'll probably. So one thing about, especially if they're playing meaningful games over the next few months and they could start to get an atmosphere in there. I do know Brian Powers told me, I think they've been struggling attendance wise. Don't quote me on that, but I feel like they've struggled attendance wise. And that's, that could have something to do with it, but I don't know if I'm willing to be okay, they just aren't going to win home games, because the last couple of years, I know they've been solid at home. That, especially when the fan base has been engaged, but I just don't know if Cleveland fans are a little out on this team this year. I know it was a disappointing end of the season last year, even though they had a really good year. They probably felt it was a little bit of a heartbreaking end of the season. It's a lot of interesting stuff going on there. Yep. I just don't know how you lay minus 130, minus 135 with the Guardians, but that's just me. But I wouldn't take the Orioles
love
either.
them. My numbers love them, but I can't do it.
My numbers also suggest that I take the Guardians today, and I will not be doing it either.
I won't either. Because another thing is, sorry to beat a dead horse on this game, but Sugano can come out and have a gem too. He's one of those guys who is just ass mustard, and then suddenly he has a good game.
Ass mustard. I never heard that.
I got that from Scott Farrell on Sports Grid. But anyway, he can come out and have a good game. You never know. He's one of those guys that could come out and just deal all of a sudden. So,
yeah, he has done that this year at times, which makes it a little bit more difficult, I think. We'll go. I want to go to this one because we have more. There's three people that
we just did this.
I'm hitting the wrong thing. Sorry.
No.
So let's go to Giants Braves, because this one really interests me, and this is one where I saw this pitching matchup, and I do not think Bryce Elder is a big league pitcher. I just don't. He he had a unreal first half that earned him an all-star nomination. And I've watched his whole career, Tokyo Brandon. He's a AAA starter. I don't think he's like a big league starting pitcher, but he's favored here. And I don't know if I disagree with the Braves being favored here. Now, to Elder's credit, he was very good last time out against the A's. But again, the A's kind of a AAA lineup at times this year as well. So what do you make of this one? Because this is as intriguing of a matchup as there is to me today. Elder, Birdsong, Giants, Braves, two teams that sort of desperately need a good showing this series. So how are you seeing this one?
So we have in this one, we have two horrible starting pitchers. I don't like Birdsong. I don't like Elder. I have both of them ranked 21 or worse on a curve of 30. Neither bullpen is playing well at all. Although, San Francisco's got some talent in their bullpen, but I don't think they're playing very well. Atlanta's is definitely not playing very well. Did you see, what was that guy's name? Iglesias the other day, man? He melted. And San Francisco's not hitting, but Atlanta is hitting. I have Atlanta ranked 6 in current form out of 30, and I got San Francisco ranked 27. So if anything, I would take maybe a Braves over, team total over. Here's another thing is I haven't mentioned on the show yet, but my chronic walker list, Hayden Birdsong is on that chronic walker list. How bad is he regarding walks? In walks per 9 for the full season, he's close to 5 walks per 9. And in the last 30 days, he's over 7 walks per 9. Atlanta's not exactly a team. Let me see. Hang on. Oh, I got the athletics here. Atlanta walks 3.7 per game, not per 9, per game. So I think we're going to see some walks here. So if you can get Birdsong for over 2.5 is for plus money, or over 1.5 for minus 150 or something, I think that would be a good play as well.
Total strig today here on Monday. I'm going to go another total. Actually, this is, I think, listen, I do not, like I said, I really don't play totals often, so take it with a grain of salt. That being said, I think the over in this game and the over in that Yankees-Jays game, I would be shocked if it's worse than a split. I see runs in both of these games, and I'll be really surprised if I get it so wrong that both of those games stay under. So do what you will with that. I really think that Yanks-Jays game is going over, and I think this game, Giants-Braves, is going to go over. You kind of, said it, like, Birdsong, I think, has more upside out of the two. He still gets some swing and miss, and he's got, he's young enough where he can harness some of this. He's still young enough. I think 23 years old. Kind of got rushed. They got him up to the big league level pretty quickly. So like he's definitely got the peripherals to be like, okay, Birdsong might actually be a pretty good big league pitcher at some point. But right now, I mean, he's just, you're like you said, doesn't have great command, a lot of walks. He's giving up a ton of hard hit. He doesn't give up many. He's not keeping the ball on the ground at all. So he's prone to giving up the long ball. And this Braves lineup is still pretty good. Like I've said this probably on a couple of different occasions this year. If the Braves are going to blow things up, or if they decide to blow things up, you got to keep the players. Get rid of this go blow up the front office, get rid of the coaching staff. I know they can't just fire Snicker. He's like been there for his entire life. They're going to have to let him sort of go as he wants to go. But like that's the problem with the Braves. This, like the way that they've constructed this bullpen, which is they don't have any leverage arms. The bullpen's actually pretty good. They just don't have anyone that you want out there with the game on the line. But like the collection of arms isn't that bad. But then to somehow still have Bryce Elder starting every 5th day at the big league level is just crazy. He's literally bottom 1% pitching run value. He's just Chad Picard. Birdsong's trash. Elder's even worse. Like, yeah, it seems like that's a surface handicap, but that's really the case. Like these two starting pitchers should not hold the opponent down. Even the Giants are starting to hit a little bit. So I think that you're going to, I mean, what do we have here? Is this a 9 flat for a total? Are we looking at 9 flat in this one?
Yeah, you could even alt it to 8.5. Yeah,
No, I don't even
it's
think you need to. I don't even think you need to do that. Like if you have 9,
4 game, very attainable.
that's what I'm saying. If you can get to that's why 8.5 or 9 is key, because if you're looking at it like, okay, if both these teams can get to 4, I'm at least free rolling. I'd be shocked if both these teams don't get to 4 here. So this is another one where I very much like the over. Tokyo Brandon, I'm going to go to you because I know you're dying to promo something, but also you have Brian Leonard's parlay leg, and I have not checked the chat yet. So I'm going to let you give us out Brian's parlay leg, and I think we all need to give one out right now. I don't think we've locked anything in.
Okay.
So go ahead.
What's the timestamp right now? What is it? 55:24. So at 55:24, Brian's parlay leg is Miami first half money line -150. That's Brian's leg.
So that's a Marlins first 5 -150. Okay.
And let me type. I can't type and talk at the same time.
No, that's all right.
I could never be one of those drummers who sings, because I can't do two things at the same time. But anyway, yeah. Let me promo something
very
real
much
quick.
with you. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. I'm laser focused. I have a one-track mind, so must be the alcohol. But 5% play for me. Adam has a play out today as well. You guys, a lot of you asked me what's your strikeout projection for Wheeler, what's your outs projection for Bayo. It's all on my sheet. If you go to my page at wagerstalk.com, you can download it for free. I put all my projections together and they're free. So yeah, that's what I wanted to promo. If you leave a comment and a like on the replay of this, we would appreciate it. It goes a long way to show Wager Talk that baseball shows can be popular too. Should I give my parlay leg?
Go ahead. Yep.
Okay. I like the A's today, and I can't figure out why they're underdogs, but they are. And since we're going to do a 3-leg parlay, I'm going to take them +1.5, but I haven't looked up the odds yet. So I'm going to look it up right now.
Why don't we talk about that game first? Because we haven't talked about it yet. And I have opinions as well. So you'll have time to look up the odds. We'll lock that in at the end of the show. But go ahead. We got A's Rangers, because I'm with you. I was intrigued by this one as well. And I didn't think they should be underdogs here. So tell me why you think the A's should be favored in this game.
Okay. Let me punch it in first. Or maybe you can talk about it first while I punch in my numbers and look up the odds.
Yeah. So for me, it came down to first starting pitching. Jack Leiter's been a guy that I felt like at the big league level has been very much overrated his entire time at the big league level. And I don't know if it's the last name that kind of continues to give him like chance after chance. I do think he's very good. I think he's got a lot of upside and a lot of potential, but the Rangers they seem to call him up at like, disadvantageous times. So it's like, I don't know if they've done him a disservice a little bit as to when they call him up, but I feel like he could have really benefited from like a season at AAA, and they just have really never given him that. And so, you look at last year, he got called up, and it was, again, he only made 9 starts, but it was just like no rhyme or reason when they were bringing him up. I think one time they brought him up as the 27th man to pitch in a doubleheader. That's not something you typically do to a young prospect. That's usually like reserved for like your MLB journeyman, like 35-year-old that's like still down at AAA, that like you don't care if he gets absolutely wrecked. Like that's who you put in that scenario. And they did that to Leiter twice last year. So the reason I'm harping on that for a second is last year, Jack Leiter, 8.83 ERA, 1.71 WHIP in 9 appearances at the big league level. So far this year, he spent more time at the big league level. He was up starting in I would say really starting in May. He spent a lot of April at AAA. And he's been sort of in the big league rotation for most of the year. But again, this is a former 2nd overall pick, 2021 draft, 2nd overall pick. And it's like, I don't know if they're just so sort of married to the fact that they drafted him second overall, so it has to work. But he's the type of guy, I think he should have an entire season at AAA. And they haven't given him that. And because of that, he's just a very average pitcher at this point at the big league level. So that's why I'm totally down to go. Like Lopez, in my opinion, has been awesome. I think, he's on a bad team, but he seems like the more of the big league ready pitcher at this point. And you've got two teams where like they've seen a lot of Leiter over the years through the minors, right? Like the A's and the Rangers, those teams play at AA and they play at AAA constantly. So I think all this A's lineup, all of them have large sample size against Leiter, and he's not like doing anything that's confusing anyone at the big league level, Tokyo Brandon. So A's are a lineup. I think they could get to him, and you want to give me plus money in that scenario. I'm very much with you there.
So my parlay leg's going to be the A's plus 1.5 at minus 180 on Pinnacle. Might be a better number somewhere else, but this is not that official. So minus 180 is fine with me. So here's my breakdown of the game. Lopez and Leiter. I got Leiter as another chronic walker. He walks too many guys. The A's are hitting better. I got the A's lineup ranked 4 in Major League Baseball in current form, where I have the Rangers ranked 15 right in the middle. A's bullpen, I have them ranked 3 in current form. And I know they're not that talented, but they're performing that talented right now. And starting pitcher, I have Leiter. I have him ranked 26 on a curve of 30, where I have Jacob Lopez at 10. So I got at the A's a huge advantage. So out of 30 points, I have them 12.5 points better than the Rangers today. I don't know why they're not favored. It kind of scares me, but I did actually, and Danny El Carbone, Danny Espinoza in the comments, I agree with him wholeheartedly. The A's team total is 3.5. That's ridiculous. They're on the road. So everything to me leads to either A's over on the team total, A's money line. Any way you can get the A's, I would take them today.
Someone in the comments just made a really good City by the Bay. Tell me a more underrated lineup than the A's right now. That's a great point. I mean, this A's lineup a year or two from now is probably going to be like an elite lineup in Major League Baseball. If they all continue, if they're all healthy and they all sort of stay on the trajectory they're on. I mean, they have so much upside on that team. So much like the talent is insane when you talk about like what Nick Kurtz should end up being, what Jacob Wilson should end up being. The fact that Soderstrom has upside, even Denzel Clark. I mean, what a player he is. If he can hit, I mean, he's like, if he can like hit with any sort of consistency, he'd be the full package. And then you actually have proven guys like Lawrence Butler, Brett Rooker, and there's a whole host of guys at the minor league level that might be able to get in the mix. I mean, they are loaded with lineup talent. And so, yeah, I very much agree with that. And then just to go, I want to make a point here, Tokyo Brandon. We'll go a little long today. I have not, we'll go a few minutes long. I want to make a point here that I've really noticed over the last, let's call it really more so this year, but I started to notice this last year too. And I think it makes your case for Jacob Lopez being underrated to an extent. Velocity became such a big deal in baseball that it was like every pitcher needed to be throwing like 98 nasty movement. And every hitter said, oh shit, all these guys can throw really hard now. So we need to you have to be able to hit velo. You have to be able to hit velo. And that's all the guys that are in the league right now, the guys that are in their early to mid 20s, grew up playing at a younger level where everyone had a nasty fastball that moved. And everyone had to be able to hit 99, 100. And now the guys that are flying under the radar that are like better than the market, and that's what we care about as bettors, are guys like Jacob Lopez, who throw 90, but they command every single one of their pitches. And he has 5 different pitches, and he has command over all of them. And the guys that aren't as good anymore are Jack Leiter, who throws 98 and has this big fastball, but doesn't have a single other pitch that can complement it. I just think that's super interesting. It's something I've started to notice. And so I'm like willing to bet on that sort of dichotomy all day.
I think the reason the line is what it is because the Rangers have a really good home record and the A's have a poor away record. But honestly, that doesn't mean a whole heck of a lot to me. And if the Rangers are coming home off of a road trip, that's even detrimental to that. I don't know if they are or not. I haven't checked it yet. I can't do two things at once. But if they're coming back home from a road trip, home is actually a detriment. Would you rather be out with 30 of your buddies hanging out in Los Angeles or Las Vegas, or would you rather be at home, putting your kids to bed? So
I mean, listen, the other thing too, like there's some, I think the A's probably prefer playing on the road at this point. Like it's there, you know what I mean? It feels like big league baseball as opposed to like their home stadium is a minor league park in a town that didn't really embrace them and they didn't embrace that town. But the other thing, I think this goes back to what the Rangers were supposed to be coming into this season. It's clear that they're not that. I don't know if they're ever going to be that. And so they're going to continue to get priced as the team that was supposed to win the AL West. And they're not going to win the AL West. I think I was even wrong about them to an extent. I thought there was going to be this big resurgence for this team. And now they are just very much a 500 ball club. I think so.
Yeah. Sorry. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, I'm just agreeing with. I think they're a 500 ball club, and I think the wrong team is favored here. I may even play the A's for clients. That's one I'm going to have to take a harder look at. But I'm very much with you on that.
Yeah, I already did. It was plus 130 when I got it. Why are the A's plus 130 with that lineup? That's crazy.
Like that may have moved.
The A's are one of those teams. They're just like something about them. It's like 2 years from now, if they can keep that core, if they can keep Rooker from going to the Yankees or something, if they can keep that core, man, once they hit Las Vegas, they're going to be like the Golden Knights were when they hit Las Vegas,
Yeah, I'm very much in on this team long term. TB, you may have even. I'm going to have to go look at this one a little harder. I might even take plus 110. Even if I know I missed out on the great number you got, but I might have to take plus 110 here. And Batman in the chat, Adam Batman Westbury, shout out to you. Yeah, how could I forget Shea Langoliers? I mean, the names. It just that there's guys. I'm even. The name. It just goes on and on and on. The number of guys that they.
If they had good
they just
pitching.
need some starting pitching, but hey, maybe Lopez is that consistent starter. He certainly has the makeup. If he can be consistent, he can stay in that rotation as for a long time. So that's a good find.
Numbers are really good. Like I said, I have him ranked number 6 on a curve of 30. I don't know if he's that talented. I don't know, but his expected numbers data says he is. So.
All right, we're gonna. I know we went over today, but that's all right. We're gonna keep going. I got one more game. I'm gonna close the parlay out here, and we'll talk about this game. Then we'll get out of here. So you guys are getting an extra 10 minutes today, but we had a little technical difficulties, and so we'll go a little longer this morning. I'm gonna use the Cardinals. Cardinals on the money line. That'll be the final parlay leg. So we've got some juice, but that's okay. We'll figure out what that 3-teamer is. I think the Cardinals right now are minus 150. Do we have? I'm just going to look at like the 2 books I have pulled up, and I don't think this is going to vary that much. It's just a side. Yeah, we'll call it minus 150. So,
okay.
Reason I like the Cardinals, and then I'll give you a chance to rebuttal. They just got slapped around. Slapped around all weekend by the Diamondbacks. The Cardinals, or I'm sorry, the Diamondbacks were the clear better team in that series. I felt like the Diamondbacks consistently matched up better than the Cardinals in that series. And so it doesn't surprise me, although I was a little surprised on Saturday. I did do a video on Saturday where I kind of talked about liking the Cardinals. I did not bet it, but I liked the Cardinals in that Saturday matchup. Sonny Gray got blown up, and it was all she wrote. And that really was the weekend for the Cardinals. I think that this is going to be a very favorable sort of follow-up to that Diamondback series. No bigger wake-up call when you're a team like the Cardinals, who, and I just want to post, so who came out of the All-Star break 51-46 and very much in the mix for a playoff position. Go out to the desert and just get slapped around all weekend. You're still on the road, but now you get to go up to Coors Field. And in my opinion, like that has to be a wake up. And these have now become games that are very, very important to this Cardinals team. And I think you're going to get a very focused. So you guys don't think it's suspicious seeing the Rockies as plus 137 dogs? I'll address that. I think they're plus 137 dogs because Mike McGreevy is the starter here for the Cardinals, and no one knows who Michael McGreevy is. So he's been at AAA most of the year, but he's been fantastic all season, even at the big league level, even on the couple of chances he's gotten at the big leagues, he's been very good. And he's put together a great season at AAA. So I think that this is cheap because the Rockies tend to get some love at home, even in a historically bad season. They beat the Twins the other night. They're going to win some of these home games. But I think this is getting priced as such because the Cardinals just lost 3 straight games, and they're going to put out a pitcher that none of you know. Maybe some of you know who Mike McGreevy is, but most people don't. And that's why this line is the way it is. I'm telling you that what I've seen from him this year at both the big league level and AAA has been very impressive. So that's someone I am willing to bet on. And I think, Tokyo Brandon, if this was a name that people recognize, the Cardinals would be a $2 favorite here. You're still getting the Cardinals up against Austin Gomber, okay? Like, they can beat Austin Gomber. Austin Gomber is not, I mean, at this point, he's a mid-5 ERA guy. Like, he's never going to be anything other than that. He's still in the big leagues because, you know, he can go out and survive 5 innings at Coors Field. So, yeah, this is a scenario where I think the Cardinals are very, very discounted. I think they should be like a $2 favorite, maybe more. And so I'm going to I want to keep count. Like, so Trig has the Cards going around from slapped around in the desert.
I read that.
Playing slap ass baseball. I feel like people are missing the point. Okay. I just said the Cardinals came out of the All-Star break. They were clearly lethargic and they got slapped around in the desert. I'm now telling you, I don't even think the Cardinals have to play their best game to win here. I think if the Cardinals do play their best game, they probably win by 8 runs. That's what I'm trying to say is, like, you're getting a Cardinals team in a desperate spot at $1.50 when they should be upwards of $2 with a pitcher that's better than any of you probably realize because he's not a known commodity, but he's been down at AAA having a great season. And every time he gets called up, he does well. So yeah, that's why I like the Cardinals. I don't know what's so hard to understand about that. Tokyo Brandon, do you have any follow-up there?
Yeah. Go to our replay and hit the like and leave a comment for us. Tell Wager Talk you love us. I have a 5% out. Adam has a play out today. Download my data sheet. It's all free. Every pitcher breakdown and strikeout projection, outs projection, everything. So regarding this game, I see a lot of people, funny comments. There was actually a Coco Crisp reference in the comments as well. I didn't know we were doing funny MLB names, but so a lot of people saying, I don't trust McGreevy. I don't trust, but do you trust Gomber? Seriously.
Yeah, do you trust the Rockies? I
don't. There's a yin and a yang, guys. It's not just the yin, right? So my rankings have Gomber ranked. I have Gomber ranked 30 out of 30, you guys. He's horrible. And he's even worse at home. I think he has like a 7+ ERA at home. Granted, I don't know a lot about McGreevy, but do you need to know a lot about him? I did look him up. He doesn't go deep into games, so the bullpen might be taking up a bit of the slack. The Rockies are hitting the ball well. So, but the Cardinal bullpen is great. And the Rockies bullpen is not performing well right now. Cardinals would be the only way to go, but I do think there will be a lot of runs scored, and I do think McGreevy will probably give up 3, maybe 4 earned runs. But do you really like Gomber? That's the question. He's terrible.
Well, and what would be the problem if the Cardinals bullpen is involved early? They haven't really used any of their best arms. They've been blown out 3 straight days. Like they've lost 3 straight games in a row. So they have every leverage arm that they could ask for available here. So what would be the problem if McGreevy's goes short? So what? You got a clear better bullpen.
Yeah, exactly. I totally agree. And the Cardinals lineup not performing as well as the Rockies lineup right now, which is a bit of a concern. Also, the Cardinals' away record is a little bit of a concern, but when you look at the Rockies, 12-37, I mean, the Cardinals are not a great team, but they are 51-49. At least they're a decent put together baseball team. I think that's just that alone is good enough to probably get a win here. Yeah, it's priced high. Maybe take a Rockies
I don't think
team
it's priced
too,
high.
because I think
That's
the
what I'm
Rockies is
saying.
too.
It's not priced high. That's what I'm talking about. You have the Rockies might be go down as one of the worst teams in the history of baseball this year when it's all said and done.
Yeah.
And the Cardinals are $1.50 favorite in a game that they need to win. Like, that's the thing. That's the whole handicap. It's not priced high. They should be like minus 220. Like,
got it. Yeah. And so let me make a comparison. Like, a lot of people come into sports betting and say, I'm not laying 160. I'm not laying 160. But when we lay numbers like that, it's like buying something. So it's like saying, I'm never spending $1,000. I'm never spending $1,000. But if someone brought you a Lamborghini, you'll spend $1,000 because it's value, right? So this is how you should approach sports betting. Don't say, I never do X, I never do this. I never do that. You'll do it if the price is right. So.
And listen, it's just one game. And I do think there's some merit to, like, you really don't want to just constantly lay big prices against the Rockies are playing better ball and they are going to win some games. I actually think going forward, they'll probably be more well, it's hard to be worse than they were going into the break. I definitely think that they could potentially be profitable against the number in the second half. Like, they're going to probably win some games as a pretty big dog that makes them okay against the number. What I'm saying here is I just think it's a very cheap price for a Cardinals team that has their whole bullpen. McGreevy's been good enough. He's tracked on my minor league pitcher ratings this year. And it really has become a game the Cardinals desperately need after what happened this weekend. And if it's just this organization, the Cardinals, they win this game. I don't know how else to put it. Like, when they need a win to stay in the mix, they find a way. And I think they find a way tonight. So without further ado, thanks for letting us go long today. Hey, we only had one show last week, so we had to come out and go 15 minutes longer today. And I love,
Brian's not here to say, okay, that's it.
Yeah, Brian also is not here to give us the 10 a.m. hard out, but like, I can sit here and I could sit here and argue with this wall about the Cardinals all day. I love doing
Me too.
So I
could talk baseball for hours. But we won't.
So our 3-teamer today, plus 332 odds. I think that's fine. We're we really want to hit one of these, get the momentum going back in our favor. Still plus 4.9 units, or up $4.90 for every dollar if you've been playing him since the beginning of the season. So even though our bankroll is dwindling away, we're still ahead, and we can still get back ahead if we can have a strong week. And I hope it starts here. So Brian Leonard, Marlins first 5 money line, that's minus 150. Tokyo Brandon's going with the A's plus 1.5, minus 180. And remember, I think if you want to bet these separate, if you want to bet the A's game and not put it in the parlay, I think you just bet the A's. Don't bet plus 1.5. But for the parlay, we're just, we're putting a 3-teamer together. We'll take the 1.5. So Marlins first 5 money line, A's plus 1.5, and I will go with the Cardinals minus 150. That is a plus 332 parlay. And I hope kicks off a nice run of these, because after starting strong, we've kind of, we're kind of trending back toward even. So we want to get back into the profit with these. And I think we do today. Thanks for letting us go long today. We had a bunch of people join late. This show is always up on demand. Tokyo Brandon, take us out.
5% play for me. Adam's got to play up. Download all my stats at my page, projections and everything. It's everything you need for DFS and to win your bets today. Have a great day, guys. Let's win some money, and we'll be back tomorrow night.
Like, subscribe. If you want to leave a comment about the Rockies or anything, we take all comments. Good, bad. Tell us what you think. Hop below in the comments on the YouTube
Peanut
channel.
Butter and jelly.
And we will see you guys tomorrow morning. Tomorrow morning, 9 a.m. Hopefully back with Brian Leonard on a nice, solid internet connection. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning. Have a great day.